I do not enjoy drama. That doesn't really need much explanation, I just don't. And making videos about controversial topics may lead to some people misinterpreting that. You make a video about Goku, everyone thinks you're a power scaler. You make a video about Death Battle, everyone expects you to reveal all the battles. I just like sharing my own opinion. But just because I know people are out there that won't agree with me doesn't mean I'm the one trying to start the argument, which is another good reason to get off of YouTube.
That was a clip from Kiro the artist of the Ink Tank, and you may be wondering, why did I play that clip? Well, it's pretty simple. It applies to me, and it really applies to my channel as a whole, if I'm being real honest with you. As a power scaler myself, I feel like a lot of people have a lot of expectations of me, and a lot of people wants me to appeal to their side and appeal to their beliefs and all that stuff. But I've made it clear on this channel that what I do and everything I say is my viewpoint. This is just my opinion, and quite frankly, I'm not going to appease other people just by conforming to what they believe. This whole thing about debating, I've went on debating about a lot of times. I've talked about debating countless times, but I've never really talked about me and my position within this community as a whole. I would just like to say that all this hatred towards me and all this disliking towards me is not going to stop me from ever making content. I'm not going to stop making content just because the whole world suddenly dislikes me and doesn't dislike my viewpoints on whatever. As I've said beforehand, the same with Kiro, I simply just like giving my viewpoints on things, like giving my opinions. Here's the thing about debating and all that stuff. Debating, power scaling, etc, etc. It's always been a passion to me. It's always been something that I've always found interesting, and really it's just a human nature thing, you know? Who wins between this person, you know, and such on such. It's always been a human nature thing. It's not just me, it's just something that we've always been curious about. And me personally, it's a hobby to me, and I've always loved it so much. But the thing is, ever since I first made this channel, everyone's always had these expectations for me to have quote-unquote better research and quote-unquote be accurate. But here's the thing about that. There is no accuracy and there's no research. These are non-existent and arbitrary things that we just put upon ourselves to make other people, you know, follow. Me personally, I don't care about whether people believe that my content is accurate or not, because there's no accuracy. It's all subjective, and it's always been subjective. Like, all these people out here trying to tell me that debating is objective, it's not. It's never been. There's no objective tier, there's no universal tier or whatever. It's all subjective. It all comes from what we believe in, it all comes from whatever. The moment that there's an official tier list or an official tiering system, as in one recognized by all authors or whatever, then fine. Then you can give me an argument, but until then it's all subjective, and it will always be subjective by its very nature and necessity. But with that being said, how does this relate to me? Well, the thing is about it is, I'm simply not going to change my viewpoints, and I'm not going to quote-unquote get better research just because you don't like my viewpoints or whatever. The thing is, a lot of people like to dislike me as a person and dislike whatever I do just because of my viewpoints on fiction. And here's my issue with you. If your respect towards me comes from what I believe in and not just because of how I present myself or as a person, then that's on you. And if I'm being honest, you're better off just unsubscribing, because I don't really care whatsoever. I just do me and do me only. But with that being said, yeah, it's always been a passion to me, and even then, always people like to call me a shit debater or a crappy debater or whatever. To me, here's what I have to refute with that. It doesn't matter to me, and truth be told, tiering debaters, fictional debaters, regardless, it's a stupid concept. And truth be told, ever since I first started on Google Plus, and even on forums going way back, I never cared about being the best debater, and admittedly I'm not. I never claimed to be. People who keep trying to push this arbitrary thing onto me saying that, ooh, Neo's a shit debater, needs to get better. I never wanted to be a good debater or anything like that. I do think I'm a good debater, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's fiction. It doesn't fucking matter, and it doesn't matter to me especially. I've always done it just because it's fun. It's always interesting just to see how good your lexicon is and how good you can, you know, argue things and all that stuff. That's always what's been to me, and that's what it should be to everyone, really, because this is not serious. If you take debating serious, then you're the issue, you're the problem. And if you think debating is objective, then you're the problem. But yeah, truth be told, I'm not going to compromise everything that I believe in and just to appease people and just to get more subscribers. Which thing is, I've never put fame first or anything like that. I've said this time and time again. I don't want to be big, and I don't care to be big, honestly. I never put money in debating. Matter of fact, I believe if you have to, you know, make people pay for stuff regarding debating and all that stuff, then I feel like you're also the issue. But that being said, it's always been a passion to me, and I really do care about what I do, and so on and so forth. But the real reason why I made this video is I mainly want to address a lot of things that's about me and stuff like that. Like, people tend to forget that despite underneath this, you know, account and underneath this, you know, persona, which I'm not putting on a persona, mind you, but underneath this internet persona or whatever, people tend to forget that, not even just me, just in general with a lot of people, that people are human beings. We're human beings that have our own struggles, and we go through a lot of stuff. Me personally, I have a lot of things I have to deal with on my mind. This whole corona stuff is something that we all have to deal with, but me personally have to deal with the fact that I'm having issues with, you know, relationships and all that stuff, and also just, you know, in general. The point is, I'm a human being too, and people need to also just put into perspective, which really, if you want to take away anything from this video, is perspective. There's a lot of reasons why I say the things that I do, and people don't seem to understand that there's a reason why I believe in what I believe, honestly, and why I do stuff like that. If you can't even at least put in perspective into why I believe what I believe, then you should also just unsubscribe and just watch someone else. If you want the majority opinion or whatever, go watch Seth the Programmer, go watch Chuck, go watch Parrot, go watch anyone but me, because that's not who I am, and that's not who I ever will be. I am me, and they are they. I'm me. I do what I want, and I do what I like, and that extends to debating and what I believe in. So if I believe that Superman isn't universal or whatever, then fine, so be it. Move on to someone else. That's just my viewpoint or whatever. And this also extends to people who just like to make, you know, people who like to make videos on me or whatever. Me personally, nowadays, I just do not care enough about it, because honestly, when you do that, you just expose your own insecurity about it. Honestly, you can call it criticism, which is not, because it's just subjective, unless it's just about how I handle things. But you can make videos on me or whatever, but it's just, there's no point in doing so. That's one of the reasons why I stopped making videos on other people, because there's no point to it. Honestly, there's different perspectives, and you're probably not going to change people's perspective. The only person who can change is themselves. So when people can only change themselves, there's no point in trying to change other people. And this extends beyond debating. This is just a general thing in general. Honestly, if people can't change themselves, then there's no point in trying to change other people. The most you can do is just give them different perspectives, and at least try to come to understanding. You know, understanding in itself is an illusion, but it's something that you at least should try, because it helps everyone around you, including yourself, including trying to understand yourself as well. But yeah, overall, I'm not going to change who I am, and I'm not going to change the compromise of my video, whatever. You know, I've said this time and time again, but you know, a lot of people disliking me and whatever is not going to change my perspective. And really, I've gotten used to hate. I've gotten death threats. I've gotten all kinds of stuff that's happened to me. But that's not going to stop me. So if you're just attempting to try to stop me from making videos and all that stuff, then you're not. The only person who can stop me is me at this point. And really, that's just how it is for a lot of other people as well. But really, if you're wondering why this video is called I'm Dying of Thirst, well, there's a reason for it. Really, I just feel like I'm dying. Well, I don't feel like I'm dying, you know, literally, but I feel like I'm kind of dying as in a person. I feel like I'm just losing myself, and I'm kind of, you know, a lot of things that are basically, this title is, you know, of course, metaphorical, and that's just me in general. You know, there's a lot of elements to it, if I'm being honest with you, but truth of the matter is, there's a lot of things to take away from it. Perspective, different viewpoints, and everyone is different. That shouldn't be something I have to explain. Everyone is just different, not just in how we look and whatever, but we're different in how we think and what we believe. And if people are too ill-equipped to just understand that one, you can't really change people. It's not easy. It's just probably not even going to happen. But people just also need to understand that there's perspective in life. And if you don't have a different perspective, or at least try to understand, then you're part of the reason why things happen as it is, you know? But I feel like I've kind of rambled on enough. Really, there's just a lot I can really, well, it's kind of hard. Like I said, you know, sorry if I'm kind of running over my words, if I'm being honest with you. It's just that I'm kind of letting off a lot off my chest, if I'm being real with you. And this video is really a personal to me, as you can tell, really, because it's kind of going over how my state of mind and my channel is, really. You know, I won't go too much about it, but I'm kind of stressed as it is. Well, I wouldn't say stressed, but kind of having a lot on my mind, and I want to just expel it all in this one video. But with that being said, yeah, that's all, folks. Super Neo, peace the fuck out like usual.